attention on the grid. 1 minute to the command.
Beach, Ed, Joe.
Check their driver. Copy that. Clear. Copy that. Well, second time by.
Max.
Remember, this is a long race. A lot of different things can happen. So even if we have issues, let's just keep our head in the game. You can go from the back to the front in this series.
We're here to do business today, and you're the man. Let's do that.
Got you, buddy. You got me okay? Yeah, little fuzzy, but I got you. You'll hear me better when you get over here. I'm behind the palm tree. Must be nice.
Smart on the start here. Long day. Your tools where you want. Ready to check?
10-4, loud and clear.
Good one today, buddy. 4.
Nice clean start. Nice clean start to the season. Good job to this point, gentlemen. And have a good race today. You copy?
Spot 6. Okay, let it clear. If you're not getting it, just speak up. We're going to get you whatever you need today. Good luck.
We'll keep you abreast of anything happening around you. Have fun out there.
Famous words in all of sports.
You know what time it is! Start your engine!
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President and Chief Executive Officer of Holman & Company, IndyCar's parent company, Mark Miles.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for what we believe will go down in the history of IndyCar as a truly red-lettered day. No better place for us to make an announcement like this than here in Detroit. Detroit is pivotal to the success of IndyCar and goes back in our history. This is the home of the Chevy Detroit Grand Prix. The only place where we race twice. Our doubleheader is here. It's the home of legendary owner Roger Penske. It's the home of General Motors and Chevrolet, which are such important partners to us. So perfect sense to be here for this announcement. It's also great to be here at the auto show. This auto show to us is about the industry, the auto industry, and about innovation. When I think about the auto industry and I think about innovation, I think that's a pretty good match with IndyCar. So we're glad to be here. Later on, we'll call up two guys that are so important to us, Jim Campbell and Art Sincere, who lead for, in this case, GM and Chevy and Honda, their motorsports engagement. And they are pivotally important partners to us. We want to thank them for being here and for all that they do with the IndyCar Series every year. Our news today is recognition of the power and global appeal of IndyCar as a global brand. And it's the beginning of a powerful new partnership which will rock the motorsports world. But rather than me announce it, let's see if this video can do a better job.
Drivers, start your engine!
Will Power's going to win the 102nd running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race. They nearly touch. Awful stuff from Dixon. Side by side.
They're high.
Are you kidding me? Almost got into the grass to make the fast. Takuma Sato wins on IndyCar's return to the Northwest.
Keep pushing.
Oh, he goes for it. Brilliant pass. We have a spin. Oh, no.
Yes, boys. Well done.
This is fun. Whoa. On the outside. They're going to go 4 wide.
5 wide.
Terrific racing.
Welcome to the NTT IndyCar Series.
Now, NBC Sports and NBC Sports Network host and pit reporter, Kevin Lee.
Extremely excited about this, and IndyCar, all of its partners, including NBC, cannot wait to get the 2019 season started for the NTT IndyCar Series. We're ready to race now, and in some ways, we are already racing because preseason testing began yesterday, and about half the field is actually on track right now as we speak at Sebring. So we're excited to welcome NTT to the fastest, most versatile, and most exciting form of motorsports on the planet. We have several guests coming up to join us today to tell us how this deal got done, and we want to start with the man of the hour. Please welcome the Executive Vice President, Head of Global Business from NTT, Tunahisa Okuno.
Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you.
Mark, we will start with you. This has been hinted at for quite some time, but we all know a deal is never done until it's done. Tell us how it all came together.
I think a few things. One, IndyCar for the past several years has been growing in all measures of fan engagement and I think is a global brand. And so the platform was attractive. I think it goes back to 2012 when Chip Ganassi Racing formed a relationship, a sponsor relationship with the number 10 car. And NTT Data is, I think, the biggest operating company of NTT here in the United States. We started talking about this possibility not very long ago, near the end of the championship, I think in early September. And in no time at all, led by Jay Fry on our team and Mark Sibla, who engaged directly with NTT Data, soon we were invited to Tokyo. And there we had a meeting together, which I'll never forget. Takuma Sato, one of our best-known drivers and champions who happens to be a hero in Japan, was with us. And by the end of that discussion, we said, let's get this done. And then we talked about the timing, and we said, well, look, you got to be on the fire suits and the cars and everything by our first open race or open test, which is coming up in the middle of February. Let's announce it in Detroit. It's the perfect place. And so it got done. And we want to thank you very much, Okuna-san, for your team's work.
Thank you much.
Mark, what makes NTT such a great fit for IndyCar?
I think this relationship is perfect. We are a global brand. And when I think about racing, I think we're international. So you think about the team owners, you think about drivers from all over the world. I'm sure that was part of how NTT saw us. But we see them as a giant technology and communications company. When I think about the future growth of IndyCar, what's more important than developing technology? It drives our racing, our teams, everybody in the paddock needs data in usable form to improve. I think about, we take 50 million data records off the cars in an average 2-hour race. To me, that's content. If with NTT we can make that usable and compelling content for fans, it will continue to grow the sport and attract younger fans. So I just think we have a great fit, and then I think it was important that NTT Data had this history with IndyCar, which will mean that we hit the ground running. We're in 7th gear already.
Okuna-san,
Yes.
welcome to IndyCar.
Thank you
Welcome to Detroit.
Thank
The
you.
entire paddock is very excited about this new relationship. Tell us what this does for your business.
Sure. Okay, thank you, Kevin. And nice to meet you, everybody. My name is Tsunehisa Okuno. Tsunehisa is my first name and Okuno is my last name. Please call me Okuno-san. It's very common in Japan to call me Okuno-san. Or call me Tsunehisa. I think Kevin practiced to pronounce my name very hard. Tsunehisa is not so easy to pronounce. And every Chinese character has a meaning. And Tsunehisa in Chinese character means forever. So call me Okuno-san or Tsunehisa or Mr. Forever. I should have talked to you beforehand, but sorry about that. We are very excited to be here and to be a partner for the IndyCar. And the IndyCar race is getting more popular also in Japan market. Mainly thanks for the Japanese driver, Sato Takuma, who won the championship 2 years ago, Indy 500. There was a special TV program in Japan, broadcasted, and I clearly remember during the program, Mr. Takuma Sato, impressed us by saying that he saw something very special, very different, after he became the champion of Indy 500. So I personally expect to see something very different through the collaboration with the IndyCar and the other partners. And the entity would like to bring something very exciting to the IndyCar fans. NTT, our total revenue is more than 100 billion US dollars. And every year we are spending $4 billion for R&D. And the NTT Data has a very close relationship with the Chip Ganassi, and we are already the technology partner for Tour de France, for example, the bike. Right? So we are very excited about to be here and to offer many things very exciting, right? So I hope our relationship with the IndyCar and the other partners will last forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
We are pleased to be joined by several other guests, including a couple of active legends joining us as drivers. Come on up. We welcome. He's won more races than anyone other than A.J. Foyt and Mario Andretti. He's the reigning champion, a 5-time IndyCar champion, and an Indy 500 champion, Scott Dixon. And the next guy probably gets the loudest ovation every year at the Indianapolis 500, a race he won in 2013, also an IndyCar champ, Tony Kanaan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice lead.
Scott, I'll start with you with just a very basic question. How does the NTT IndyCar Series sound to you?
I think it's fantastic. I think with myself and Tony, we've had a great partnership with NTT for many years. Obviously, it's Chip Ganassi Racing too. I was lucky enough to win a race for them in 2017 at Road America. But I think with how the two companies are going to work together, I think it's going to be fantastic for branding, pushing it. We have the greatest racing in the world, and we're going to be able to push it together. But it's the perfect marriage, and looking forward to the 2019 NTT IndyCar Series to kick off.
TK, you have also driven the NTT data car. You literally have worn their technology. I want you to explain that a little bit and what they're bringing to IndyCar.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great pleasure to be here, especially, I've driven their car for 3 years. They're the reason that I came to Chip when I came to Chip. So, and in the past, I developed this shirt we call the Hero shirt, but that's just about of the technology that they can bring to the series. I mean, this shirt was something that was amazing when we launched, that they could actually read my heartbeat and my heart rate while I was in the car. So a company that spends $4 billion in R&D a year, I think it has a lot to bring to this series. So hopefully, it's a lot of familiar faces. I have good friends at NTT, so I'm really excited for IndyCar. It shows how strong this series is, and how good of a job Mark Miles and his team with Jay Fry turned it around. As soon as we had a title sponsor leaving, and in 4 months to turn this around and have this big announcement today, so I'm really excited.
And Tony's relationship with NTT continues. He now drives the famous number 14 for A.J. Foyt. Several other guests, we'll bring them all up together. Jay Fry was mentioned, the president of IndyCar. Let's welcome Jay Fry. And also a couple of IndyCar legends, drivers, car owners now. His image is on that iconic Borg Warner trophy over there, the 1986 Indianapolis 500 winner, and he also has won it as a car owner, Bobby Rahal. Chip Ganassi drove in the Indianapolis 500. He's won it as a car owner 5 times, plus 12 IndyCar championships, including last year with Scott Dixon. Chip Ganassi, everyone. And finally, representing IndyCar's 2 auto manufacturers, let's welcome the president of Honda Performance Development, Art St. Cyr. And Jim Campbell is here, the General Motors U.S. Vice President, Performance Vehicles and Motorsports. We welcome you, and you welcome us to your hometown here of Detroit. Jay, let's start with you. Speak to the significance from a series standpoint of what this deal does.
Well, last year here we had a really big announcement with the new car, which we think was very successful. Today's announcement is a huge announcement. Obviously, this is something that affects the entire paddock, from the broadcast partners to the promoters to the teams. We couldn't be more proud to partner with a global brand like NTT. I want to send a big thanks to all of them for all their hard work.
Bob, you can speak to it from a team perspective, and I don't think anybody's been more invested than you have as a driver. Your son drives for your team. Takuma Sato drives for Bob's team. His partner is David Letterman and also Mike Lanigan. What does an announcement and a partnership like this mean to the teams?
Well, I think it's a huge announcement, obviously, for the series, but for those of us within the series, it's great, very meaningful, because obviously it shows the value of the series, and everybody's been working hard to raise that value. The racing is, I don't think anything is any better anywhere in the world, and so it's nice to have them, NTT, come on board, being such a, it's a huge international company. This can be nothing but great things for the series and for all of us involved in the series. the same. So, you know, we're thrilled, thrilled about the longevity of it, because as a team owner now, we've got something to really sell, not just this year, but in years to come. So I think it's just a home run for all of us within the series.
Chip, I think many would thank you for getting this relationship started. You know this group better than anyone. Tell us about the group from NTT.
Thanks, Kevin. Yes, thank you. You know, I think what's interesting, I think we're going into our 8th year now with NTT in 2019, and I think what I see is they do business globally with a lot of major corporations around the world. They entertain these people at the track, and they have good relationships. But after a day at the track, I can see a good relationship turn into a great relationship. And so I'm excited about them coming on as a series sponsor.
Art Honda is the reigning IndyCar Series champion from a manufacturer perspective. Safe to say you're probably excited to get it started again here coming in 2019?
Yeah, we can't wait. I mean, the IndyCar Series right now is some of the best racing you'll get in the entire world. You know, we have great teams, great drivers, great competitions, sometimes too great a competition. But no, it's really great that you know, we're really happy to be a longtime partner with IndyCar. This will be our 26th year in IndyCar, so it's good for us, and you know, we're looking forward to St. Petersburg, which is going to start here in March.
And Jim, Chevy won the Indianapolis 500 last year. We think of Indianapolis as the racing capital of the world, but this truly is Motor City, and Detroit is always a perfect spot for an announcement of this magnitude. What's your reaction to this news?
Well, this is great news, and I'm so glad that Mark and Jay decided to make this announcement with NTT right here in Detroit. For us, IndyCar is special because our co-founder, Louis Chevrolet, him and his brothers, where do they race? They raced at Indy. And so we love the sport. I'm with Art. The racing is spectacular. It's edge of the seat, so exciting, and I have so much respect for these team owners and the drivers and what they do every day. Such talent. And I think it's exciting. NTT is going to bring all this technology services expertise, and they're going to help turbocharge our sport. They're going to start, I think, with the app. They're going to make that app really accessible, lots of ways for the fans all over the world to connect with our sport that we love so much. I think it's a great relationship. And then the other thing is, we look at NTT, they have ties in the auto industry. And so to make this announcement here in Detroit, where we have the North American International Auto Show, I think it's quite appropriate. And so whether it's working on AV or electrification or the way we use data to make all that happen, I think it's an appropriate place to do that. And I also want to say to Jay and to Mark and Kevin, thank you for putting me at this end of the podium closest to these trophies, because that makes me really motivated every day. But it's great to have NTT on, and congratulations.
Thank you. And to commemorate this moment and this new partnership, IndyCar and its drivers have a special gift for Akuna-san. And I'd like Jay and Mark. Jay, come on over. And
wow. You want to get on the other side?
Okay.
So there will be more days like this in the future, but to help get us started, we hope you'll appreciate this helmet from the NTT IndyCar Series and find a nice place for it in Tokyo.
Thank you very much. So should I put it on? Or?
It's up to you.
Okay. So maybe I should learn how to drive. But,
right.
Yeah.
We'll give you the drive.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And these guys want to.
Let's have the three come over this way a little bit for a photo. So I'd like Akuna-san and Jay and Mark again in a moment after they pose with the driver. Stay there. You're good. You're good. No, stay there. Stay there.
Yeah.
Stay there, Tony.
You want all of us?
Yeah, just the three of them first, and then I want Mark and Jay back. And then the entire group together, so everyone else stay there at a nice spot by the Borg Warner Trophy. Okay, right. Jay and Mark back over this way a little bit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought you wanted just the three of us. Who do you want?
Just the three, Jay, Mark, and Akuna-san. Sorry, Scott, you're not needed for this one.
There we go.
Good, thank you.
And by the way,
that's right.
Those on the stage here will be available for interviews for the media here coming up in just a moment. Okay, now the entire group.
All right. You should take the middle.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll come down here at the end.
Sure.
Yeah. Bring them this way.
Maybe on the other side of T.
Yeah.
If everyone can come down this way a little bit.
And in the middle. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Don't tickle me like that.
Sorry. I can only suck it in so long.
I can't even suck it in.
Good.
All good?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you to the North American International Auto Show for hosting us. We can't wait to get started in St. Petersburg in March. And you can watch every race this year on either NBC or NBCSN. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
CEO retired. Changed his ownership. The man who liked racing. That's always replaced by. Yes, if you call it. What's up? Everybody always. How you doing? Nice seeing you. Something wrong. Yeah, I was